Morning, and welcome back to the New Forest on a typical late December grey day. Well, this is the November-December update of the video diary, showing some of the things that have gone on in the forest over the past couple of months. So let's go and see what happened.
November blew in with Storm Claudio, bringing wind and heavy rain sweeping across the country. The New Forest looked pretty wet in places. At least the hosepipe ban finally ended. The rutting season for the fallow deer was still going on, and spare bucks were looking for any lingering does. This buck suddenly appeared in the track in front of me one morning. I wasn't quite sure which way he was going to run. I don't think he was either. After a short time, he was off on his way, disappearing into the bracken. The New Forest Walking and Cycling Festival ended early in November. Another very successful year, with most of the organised walks and rides sold out. From the 7th of November, all captive birds were required to be kept indoors due to the Avian Flu outbreak. This has already killed hundreds of thousands of wild birds, including birds here in the New Forest, and is a very serious outbreak. Remembrance Day had an increased poignancy this year, with the war in Ukraine showing no sign of ending. Down at Lepe Country Park, a beautiful wave of poppies was installed to coincide with the poppy appeal. 2,140 hand-knitted poppies were donated by the local community, and almost £500 was raised for the British Legion charity. Processions were held in towns and villages throughout the forest area, as we remember those who've fallen in wars, and those who are still in danger today. Mid-November brought more rain, but it remained very mild. The rain eventually stopped, and the sun started to shine through the clouds, and we had some of these. The mild weather prolonged the fungi season, and new fungi could be seen if you looked hard enough. If you've driven through Cadnam recently, you might have noticed that you can now see Splitwind Pond again. The bushes around the pond had become quite overgrown, and the Greening Copythorn group of volunteers spent 2 mornings cutting it back and clearing out some of the invasive plants in the pond. The group did a great job. I'll go back there in the spring to see if I can see any of the newts that live there. As we progressed through November, the autumn colours began to arrive on the trees in the forest. This was quite late again this year due to the mild weather. If you drove along the road from Lyndhurst to Bewley earlier in the year, you'd have passed these conifers at Matley Ridge. If you drive along there now, it looks more like this. This is part of Forestry England's Heathland Restoration work. The pine trees, which were planted in the 1970s, have been felled, and the wood will be used mainly in the building industry. All of the tree stumps are being removed now and burnt, and this area is being restored to open heathland, how it was before the trees were planted. These heathland areas in the forest are incredibly important for all kinds of species, many of which are very rare, and the New Forest as a whole is recognised as an internationally important site for nature conservation. The weather in December got noticeably colder and hastened the leaves falling from the trees. I was surprised to find this fresh fungi in December. I thought it would be too cold by now. I believe this is Coprinus comatus, commonly known as a Shaggy Inkcap. There's not much to eat now in the forest, particularly when the ground is frosty. The ponies rely more on eating leaves from the bushes and trees. These donkeys are eating the brambles on the side of the road. In mid-December we had a blast from the Arctic for about 10 days, with frost every night and dry sunny days. We even had a dusting of snow. During this cold weather we had a very rare visitor. Thor the Walrus turned up on Calshot Beach. Walruses mainly live in and around the Arctic Circle, and it's rare for them to come this far south. Thor has been travelling around the coast of Europe. He was last spotted in the Netherlands on November the 6th, and has been travelling along the coast of France as far as Brittany in the last few weeks. After an overnight rest stop at Calshot, Thor went on his way the following day. 5 days later, he was spotted on the beach at Dieppe in northern France. My thanks to Nigel Jones, who kindly allowed me to use this image of Thor. The cold weather ended abruptly. One night the temperature was -5 degrees. The next night it was +11 degrees. With the warmer weather came the rain, and lots of it. This is the Lymington River at Brockenhurst, how it usually looks. This is how it looked after 2 days of rain. I don't think there's any danger of anyone camping in this field at the moment. The streamometer shows us how quickly the stream filled up. It's always nice to see the Christmas lights on houses at Christmas time. Not sure there were quite as many this year though, presumably because of the high cost of electricity. I went back to Byron Road to see if they had their lights on this year, and yes they did. Every year Byron Road is famous for its Christmas lights. There's about 80,000 lights in the display, and they raise money for the NHS. Since they've been doing this, they've raised over £85,000. A brilliant effort. That brings us to the end of 2022. I hope you found the video diary interesting through the year. If you have, please subscribe to our channel to see more videos from the New Forest, historic town walks, nature and other places that we visit at home and abroad. Thanks for watching.